I was discovered by Giles Peterson, who found an old LP of mine, and he played it on the radio, and a lot of people thought it was pretty cool. It was a Goli Gandum and Iranian folk song using the santur, which is a hammered dulcimer. And soon after that, I got a phone call from jazzman Gerald Short, and he wanted to have some of my albums. I think I sent him a few. I can't remember how that happened, but he was interested in this music. And eventually, I was over here on a trip last year, and I told him about it, and he said, well, come on down to a studio and let's record some of your stuff, and I'll find you a band. And so he found a bass player and a drummer who are the core members of the Heliocentrics. But this is tuned sensibly. So the same fingering gets you everywhere, except you just remember to skip over to that because it's one. So your fingers don't have to change hardly at all, so you can go faster. Although flamenco guitarists are really great. I don't know how they do it. I can never figure out how. But anyway, this is the ancestor of the guitar and the mandolin and the ukulele and all kinds of instruments. And this family of instruments is different because the strings start on the board rather than down at the bottom and go across it. Anyway, so this instrument we've used in the group to play sometimes just little things, just little rhythms. And then sometimes it's used kind of like the oud is used to. Like in Turkish and Arab music, we sometimes use it as an Eastern instrument. Sometimes I found there's ways to kind of use it to do backup rhythms and so on for the Heliocentrics, interesting rhythm patterns. So also on this new CD, we did kind of a Javanese and a Balinese piece where we used the vibes as one of the main instruments. And the Javanese scale that's called pelak, rendered on this thing. Then the other Balinese scale and Javanese is called slendro. That's a major scale, pentatonic. And since they have several people playing metal instruments, me and the drummer Malcolm, I played on this side and he played on that side, and we played them together. And I did sort of solo line, and he did some backup stuff on vibes, and it sounds a lot like Balinese music. We use this, it's the Indian santur. We use it kind of for Chinese, Indian, and other, an Afghan instrument. Actually, the santur from Iran is so much nicer than this, but this was kind of at least we had this. It's not very well tunable, but it's kind of more like a toy. And then, of course, this is a Chinese chang. It's dan chang in Vietnamese. It's a flat harp. The word chang is a Persian word meaning harp. And then you can twang these notes. They don't twang them quite as much in Japanese, but they twang them terribly in Korean, like that. But in Vietnam, just a little bit, once in a while. I use on the recordings, I use the really good, these aren't a good example, I've just picked this off the floor here, hand drums. I have a pretty nice kind of a Persian, Turkish hand drum. It's metal, but it sort of has a Persian sound, like this on a couple of recordings. And the methods of playing hand drum in the Middle East, and there's only one, this extra one isn't supposed to be there. I don't know, maybe we can hide it so people won't think that that's, but you use your fingers, and when when you hit the center, it's a deep sound. Hit the edge, it's a high sound, and this is not much difference. This skin is too thick. But, so you use your fingers a lot like tabla. And then you do snaps like that. I call them flick and flies. And then you have these kind of snaps against the edge of the drum. And then to do a roll, your thumb hits and your fingers follow on both hands. You practice that till you get it really smooth and pretty soon you can get a roll out of it. Yeah, that's about it, except this cute little toy from Thailand that we played on one thing just because. We didn't play Thai music on it, but we used it just whenever the Heliocentrics guys said, well, let's use that, or let's do that. And they'd hand me an instrument, sometimes little toys that you can't do anything with. So can you play this on that? I said, well, no, that's sort of like the Jeff Gilson gig that I really can't. But I found something like it and made them happy, and so we put that on a track. They were looking for a sound. And we worked together as a team, kind of finding different things, and when they'd ask me, can you put a little wind something on a piece we needed somewhere, and then we'd work out how it was supposed to sound. And it was a real collaboration, almost note by note sometimes.